The tragic murder of T. Roy ignited a firestorm of vengeance within Oblock, and whispers in the streets and rumors on the internet have often pointed to Munna having been one of the central figures in this series of retaliatory killings that followed T. Roy's death.
Damn! See, God!
The violence continued. Surveillance footage painted a grim picture, showing two shooters running up and relentlessly targeting both victims, even continuing to fire at GetRight as he lay helpless on the ground.
As he was
While
already
officially
on the
unsolved,
ground.
online theories have pointed strongly
Obviously,
towards
Duke
two
and
members of
Mula.
Oblock, Munna and the infamous shooter from the younger generation called Mula.
You wouldn't even know what type of bomb me and bro and this nigga got. Picture speak for itself. Oh my God. So, Mula gang, yesterday we did part 1 of the murders that Munna committed that ended up getting him unalived. Today, we got part 2, and they finna really go in depth into the murders that they say Munna was a part of. Do your homework, okay? Now, what I also need y'all to do your homework on is y'all need to understand the blessing of life that God created when he gave us the grabba leaf hemp wrap. I'm telling y'all right now, the grabba leaf hemp paper, magnifico.
Munna has always been considered to have been one of the most respected members of Oblock.
Right.
Even the notorious King Von, a drill rap icon and an alleged serial killer with 7 bodies, immortalized Duke's menacing reputation on his track Beat Dat Body, where he boasted about taking Duke on hits with him and giving him the menacing nickname King Kong. But
see, I didn't know that. See, I'm learning. Like, I listened to King Von, but I never noticed that he was saying Munna or Duke. Like, I never heard that.
the question is, what had Duke done in the streets to make King Von give him such a name?
Right.
Even though Duke never lived in the Parkway Gardens, aka the Oblock housing projects, his destiny was intertwined with that community from early on.
He never
Now-
lived there.
Still reside in Oblock today, or you've moved out since then?
Oh, no, I don't live in there, no. I don't live in there at all. I thought you said where I was raised at, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let's back up. You were raised in Oblock from about 8, 9 till when?
I never lived in there, you know what I'm saying? Let's
Okay.
get that straight. I never lived in there. I just grew up around in that
Grew up
neighborhood.
around,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That
His
makes
family
sense.
had moved just outside Oblock when he was
Yeah.
just 8 years old, while having first spent his early years in the so-called
Calumet
Calumet building, aka the Randolph Tower, located only about a block away from Parkway. This building was home to many kids who would later become members of Oblock, while
Everybody
at the time
from
it acted as a
Calumet
headquarters for an infamous Black Disciple faction that ran a massive drug operation from there during the 90s and early 2000s, before the building was ultimately demolished in the mid-2000s.
No, I was in that area, like in that vicinity, you know what I'm saying? And once my project got too down, I kind of moved right there, you know what I'm saying, to Oblock when I was kind of like a kid.
Duke has opened up in
Right.
interviews about how his youth was a harsh landscape of poverty and uncertainty.
I grew up, goddamn it, sleeping on the floor, you know what I'm saying? With a
Yeah.
house full of people, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like a,
And he was also mentioned how he was haunted by the fear of possibly not seeing his own 18th birthday.
it's something gonna happen
Everybody
to me
haunted like
where-
that in
where I'll be able
Chicago,
to make
though,
it
boy.
to see this age, you know? So.
The halls of elementary and high school served as a breeding ground for alliances and animosities. Other kids who would later become members of affiliated gangs like Lamron, 600, and Front Street.
Oh yeah, we
that's
all grew
Munna
up together.
right
Like
there.
we all went to the same grammar school, you know. We all went to the same grammar school, and it just went from there, you know.
Yeah.
Grammar school to high school, and to the age we is now.
And members of rival gangs like 051 Young Money, who were located on the other side of Washington Park.
Yeah.
We went to school with a lot of motherfuckers from 51st Young Money. It was a lot of their ass, and I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
a lot of like Rockhead and all their ass. I think.
There's a lot of them in
Arrow,
school,
all
my
of
school
them.
too.
As he got older, Duke would become very close with many of the Oblock's most infamous members, including O.D. Perry, T. Roy, and of course King Von. By the age of 14 in 2008, Duke's entanglement with the law became a defining
so he
chapter
been out
in his
here.
early and frequent
See, I
arrests.
never knew this though. I never knew that Munna was even like, you know what I'm saying? Like I seen him around. I the name just from watching all these videos I remember, but I never knew he was like outside getting crazy, getting active really in the streets like that. I'm not surprised, but I didn't know like how deep it got.
out of high school, while also effectively sidelining him during Chief Keef's early ascent to the top of the drill movement in the early 2010s and the subsequent explosion of King Von's rap career in the late 2010s too.
I say Von was a top moment, but I wasn't around for it. I was kind of locked up, but
He was locked
that was
up.
like a top moment.
But when he would be free, between those
So
time
Von got
periods,
out, he
Duke
went
plunged
in.
headfirst into the streets. As mentioned earlier, the tragic murder of T. Roy ignited a firestorm of vengeance within Oblock, and the summer of 2017, named the Summer of Get Back, became synonymous with the chilling moniker the Get Back Gang, as Oblock members were out for revenge. Later on, whispers in the streets and rumors on the internet have often pointed to Munna having been one of the central figures in this series of retaliatory killings that followed T. Roy's death.
Damn! See, I didn't know this, bro. Only question I got is if you know you was participating in catching bodies, bro, why are you still in the city, gang? Because if you was catching bodies when you was younger, or you was participating, you was the driver, you was the left side shooter, I don't fucking know. You feel me? You could have been the lookout man. You could have been the hawk down man. I don't know. But you survived to be 30-some years old, gang. The last place you should ever be is Chirac, where you know you caught these bodies, bro. That's all I'm saying.
The bloodshed began on May the 14th, 2017, as Warren Delton, known in Jaro City as Lil Ho, became...
I want to put y'all on to some of the easiest money you'll ever make in your life. Freecash.com is a website that allows you to literally get paid hundreds of dollars just for playing video games on your phone. All you need is an email and a password. Follow the directions on each of the campaigns and you can earn at least $100. My personal favorite game to play was Sunrise Island, and when I clicked on it, they had a $370 bonus. I got $370 just for playing the video game on my phone. On average, it only takes about 17 minutes for most people to start earning money on freecash.com. So if you need some free, easy, extra money, go to freecash.com, click the QR code right here, or go in the description below and start getting that bag. You did?
The alleged victim of the Get Back gang, as he stood with a group near 62nd and Eberhard, only a few minutes drive from Oblock. 4 shadowy figures emerged from an alley. 3 unleashed a hail of gunfire that struck Lil Ho down, and in a brutal display, at least one shooter stood over his fallen body, delivering multiple final shots before vanishing back into the streets. The case remains unsolved, and the perpetrators a mystery to this day, but many key Get Back gang members, such as McAdoo from 600 and E-Dog, Gleesh, and Duke from Oblock, are regularly considered to be the main suspects.
Right. Murder, MOB.
Just 8 days after Lil Ho's murder, on May the 22nd, the violence continued as Jamie Jones, known in the streets as MOB Jamo, was driving westbound on 59th Street at LaSalle when an occupant of another vehicle opened fire, striking him multiple times. Authorities identified him as a gangster disciple, and his death occurred in the heart of a known gang conflict zone. Though concrete evidence would again remain elusive, the hand of the Get Back gang was once again suspected, with rumors placing 600 members, McAdoo and Cap, and Oblock members, Duke and HK, at the scene.
God!
The violence continued a month later. On June the 16th, Taekwondo World member Sherrod Rhyme, better known as Poppy, was at his workplace at the L&P Foods and Candy Warehouse on the corner of 71st and State Street.
The victim, so he worked at this candy store.
Shortly after 3 p.m., a seemingly ordinary act of assisting a customer would turn deadly.
The subject was putting groceries in the vehicle
when a shooter suddenly appeared from a 4-door vehicle, firing multiple shots.
That's spooky, bro. That nigga waited. You at work, bringing groceries to an old lady car. Your ops pop out and say, huh, that's spooky.
Blank range before quickly getting back to the vehicle, which would then flee northbound.
Okay, per 363 Adam, it was a dark 4-door vehicle. The subject jumped out, shot at close range, got back in, and fled northbound on State.
3 of these shots would hit Poppy's head, and he would have no chance to survive. Case of murder had several witnesses who offered a description of the shooter, around 6 feet tall with dreadlocks and face concealed by a mask.
Male black 6 foot with dreads and a white t-shirt and jeans.
Initial suspicions fell on T-Roy's brother, HK, who was seen flaunting his T-Roy pendant in the aftermath of the murder, as if sending a message that he had indeed avenged.
If T-Roy brother had something to do with something. Because I think, didn't he die, like something happened to him?
His brother's death. And after this incident, HK, or Heck as he was known at the time, would get his nickname, the initials HK actually being short for Headshot King. But while the murder of Poppy has always been attributed to HK, the narrative would get more complex, as members of Taekwondo World would heavily memorialize Poppy after Duke's murder, perhaps hinting at a deeper and more direct connection between Duke and Poppy's killing. The witness's description of the shooter was a tall figure with dreads, and that would chillingly align more closely with Munna Duke's appearance at the time, who was both taller than HK and had slightly longer dreadlocks. This convincing some that Poppy's killer had indeed actually been Duke, while it's also possible that he might well have been the driver for the hit.
Right. One thing I will say though, just because like I feel like if King Von, knowing the type of person he was, even though I ain't never met him, but just knowing the type of person it seemed like he was, he not stamping nobody in no song that ain't really out here doing what they say they doing for. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't strike me as that type of dude who just gonna be saying people names. Everything King Von ever said was damn near true. So why would I come to assume that this one time he finna be lying, he bringing up Duke name? You know what I'm saying? He's saying in songs, I'm bringing Duke on my hits with me. Like, he's saying this shit. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, he's telling the truth. I'd be surprised if it was a lie. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The following year, on June the 16th, 2018, the bloodshed revisited the streets. It was around 9:50 p.m. when two men were gunned down outside of a restaurant on the 400 block of the East 63rd Street, only a stone's throw away from Oblock. Troy Hampton, an innocent janitor, aged 43, was struck in the chest, dying at the scene, while 22-year-old DeAndre Wallace, known as GetRight or Man from STL EBT, also fell victim to the hail of bullets, succumbing to his wounds in the hospital. Surveillance footage painted a grim picture, showing two shooters running up and relentlessly targeting both victims, even continuing to fire at GetRight as he lay helpless on the ground.
As he was
While
already
officially
on the
unsolved,
ground.
online theories have pointed strongly towards
Duke
two
and
members of
Mula.
Oblock, Munna and the infamous shooter from the younger generation called Mula. In the same month, King Von ominously tweeted about a new op pack that his brothers had created, while Oblock veteran E-Dog added fuel to the fire, posting a picture featuring Muwop and
He posted 2 pictures that featured Muwop and Munna Duke. You get the right, I got the left. We gonna meet up. We gonna meet back up. Ugh, why he put the kissy face? What's wrong with these niggas, bro? Let me find out y'all a part of the LMNOP community.
Duke, accompanied by the caption, "You better get right,
get
or
right or
get
get
left,"
left.
a phrase also used in other social media posts that featured both Muwop and Duke. Muwop himself would share a photo with Duke in what fans speculated was them reenacting
You
the
wouldn't
murder.
even know what type of, oh my God. You wouldn't even know what type of bomb me and bro and this nigga got. Picture speak for itself. Oh my God.
FBI, open up!
And the stupid part about it, you not only are you putting the police on you, now you snitching on yourself to the ops too. So now when the ops see you 7, 8 years later at the restaurant downtown, bro, and they catch you lacking outside a little off tipsy a little bit, you get unalive, bro, because you on here snitching on yourself when you could have just said nothing, and your ops and the police would have been like, oh, it was probably somebody else. It wasn't him. Like, you know, like
As Muwop makes a gun with his fingers pointing directly at the camera, while Duke's gun fingers point towards the ground like he's standing over somebody and shooting, with Muwop captioning the post saying that people have no idea what type of bond they have together,
"Get
while
right
ending
with
with
you."
the cryptic line that the picture speaks for itself. King Von's track Problems, again, would also eerily mirror the details of this horrific incident, with lyrics describing shooting both the target and a witness, while King Von can even be seen gesturing towards Duke in the track's music video right after he raps these lines. After earning his stripes in the streets, and unfortunately losing King Von, who at the time of his runaway rap career looked like Oblock's ticket out of the streets, Duke himself would start rapping in 2021, with what appeared to be his first ever song, 12 AM. A clear homage to King Von's 2020 song, 3 AM, Duke even interpolated Von's flow in his version of the track. While the song as a whole was an incredibly disrespectful diss towards Oblock's dead enemies, with one lyric referencing a shooting where a woman got hit, rapping that even if a girl gets hit, he doesn't give a F because he's trying to do his ops like FBG Duck, who was famously shot dead by Oblock members who would also hit the woman that he was with. Duke would also give a shout out to one of Duck's killers, C Murder, as well as shouting out Heck, or the Headshot King, rapping how they are the Get Back Gang, kind of implying that HK was his alleged partner in crime and the potential shooter or driver during the hit on Taekwon World member Poppy. Duke would also rap about lurking in the streets trying to kill their ops so much that they forget to even eat dinner, while proudly repping his King Kong nickname that King Von gave him, and saying that you can't even hang out with him if you haven't killed someone. The song also had a music video where Duke can be seen rapping in Oblock, flanked by some of the most notorious members like E-Dog and Muwop. Fans loved the song, with many saying that he even had some of King Von's spirit in him, and that they were excited for Duke having a bright future in the rap game. Duke followed that up with songs like Winnin' and Right Back, where he rapped about doing drills where the witness was killed too, with some believing that this is another reference to the janitor that was killed on the GetRight hit. The song was an instant classic. One comment said that Duke was even picking up where King Von left off, and another called Duke 3 for 3 as a rapper. For fans that were longing for that
Duke finna pick up where Von left off. I pray for his success. The O been through too much. They deserve it. What? Y'all be delusional, bro. The O is in the streets. The O are killing people. What you mean they been through too much? They not no victims. They not no people that somebody just coming to pick on. These niggas is sliding, killing they ops, rapping about it, tweeting about it, talking about it on Instagram. And then when something happened to them, y'all say they been through too much. What about the people who they putting people mamas through shit? They putting people friends through shit. What we talking about, bro?
and picking up where King Von left off, and another called Duke 3 for 3 as a rapper. For fans that were longing for that Von-esque flow on hard-hitting beats, Duke appeared to be someone that they could bet on to take over the rap game. Duke also collaborated with other Oblock rappers like Ocho Munna and Prince Dre on the remix for Ocho's Bean It song, followed by the songs No Hook and Off the Porch. Then moving on to one of his biggest releases of his career, this interestingly being his first international collaboration with the UK rapper Millions. Their track 10 to the O was an epic collab where Millions actually went to Oblock and shot a music video with all the iconic Oblock members, with Duke rapping lyrics about a murder eerily resembling GetRight's, saying that he caught someone lacking in front of the store. The video even ended in a respectful chain swap between these two international drill artists. Duke was making big moves internationally with his music, and there would also be a rumor that Duke had seemingly tapped in with Central C's most feared op, Digga D, for a collab. And while nothing officially got released, a leaked track called Legally Blind featured the two artists, with Digga immediately dissing a dead op that they've been smoking on so much that he believes that he's now the UK's Tuka. And Munna Duke would rap about being a 13-year-old shooter looking for a body and then walking up and shooting at close range. Duke was getting a lot of motion as a rapper, and he kept releasing singles and music videos all the way through 2022. Then, leading up to the release of his full project, Munna Duke would release the track Passenger Side, rapping that he didn't cry after Von died, but he still planned on getting Get Back, a message most likely aimed at Quando Rondo and Lil Tim, suggesting that the Get Back gang might still be out looking for blood. While Duke would also shout out the up-and-coming generations of Oblock. Then, in August 2023, he released a full project called Welcome to the Jungle, the title and cover art being a clear nod to the fearsome Oblock housing projects. Duke promoted the project with music videos like the song Intro, where he introduced himself as having money to support his mama by buying her a house, his gang by buying them a chain, whilst also paying for many lawyers. Releasing a full mixtape was a huge achievement for Duke, because in a world where few people survive or even start a music career, let alone having the focus to complete a full body of work, is a monumental achievement. But Duke wasn't slowing down, and he would keep putting out music, like his guest verse on perhaps the longest running Oblock veteran Boss Top's song, Get Back Gang, a song that unsurprisingly paid tribute to the Get Back Gang's brutal campaign of revenge after T-Roy's murder. The song also featured the Oblock legend E-Dog as well as the late Zell Munna. On the track, Duke proudly claimed his King Kong nickname while rapping how he's back in heck mode after running after ops, and claiming that he puts hits on people for $10,000, as well as promising to slide twice as hard on ops to avenge both T-Roy and King Von. Unfortunately, it was ultimately this very ethos of never-ending Get Back that would likely become Munna Duke's own undoing, and like it often happens, the Get Back would come when he least expected it.
We done already talked about this, Mert, but I feel like Trap Lord Ross, he usually give us some more info that we don't really be getting nowhere else. So I'm gonna just go ahead and watch it.
On May the 10th, 2025, Munna Duke and Youngin headed to the north side of Chicago to the Edgewater neighborhood for a fun night out.
Now, some stupid goofy gonna try to tell me that Edgewater ain't by downtown, it's up north. Edgewater is 12 minutes away from downtown Chicago. I don't know what's wrong with these goofies. But Edgewater is not super far up north though. As you can see, once you get to Lincoln Park right here, this is when it kind of start really getting good. Like more of like a better neighborhood and stuff like that. But it's not so far north. It's not Wrigleyville. It's not so far north that you safe. You feel what I'm saying? Like you would have to keep going and keep going and keep going for an hour or two to Naperville and Aurora and them northwest suburbs. You know what I'm saying? To like really be kind of safe. And even then, if you got your location or somebody figure, niggas will slide to them suburbs and do you nasty, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Munna Duke and Youngin headed to the north side of Chicago to the Edgewater neighborhood for a fun night out, as they were celebrating fellow Oblock veteran Glish's birthday. They would spend the night at the Pork Chop Barbecue Restaurant and Bar on the 6300 block of North Broadway. But as their evening at the restaurant came to a close, and Duke, Youngin, and their group exited the restaurant, at least 2 gunmen who had reportedly been hanging out in front of the restaurant waiting for them would jump out of a vehicle, firing at least 50 shots, hitting Duke, Youngin, and a third man who some thought to have been Domo from the 600 set, a brother of the founder of 600 called D-Thang. Unfortunately, both Youngin and Duke would tragically pass away, and thankfully, the third man ended up surviving. The aftermath of the shooting was recorded by passers-by that showed Youngin's lifeless body laying on the pavement.
That's so bogus.
I don't know what's going on. You straight? You got a shirt? Yeah.
An officer familiar with the investigation told newspapers how security video showed the gunman escaping in a stolen Infiniti Q50, which cops found less than 2 hours after the shooting, abandoned and burning on the 600 block of East 134th Place, almost 30 miles south from the scene of the shooting in the far south side.
And they went all the way far to the Hunnits 2 hours later and found it burning. So that mean they instantly
East 134th place, almost 30 miles south from the scene of the shooting in the far south side.
That's
Munna
far
posted a
south.
story on his social media just 6 hours before the incident. His last Instagram story featuring him in the car with whom many believe to be Youngin, Domo, and Domo's sister, listening to G Herbo and flexing jewelry including his Oblock chain. Meanwhile, Youngin's last post was ominously captioned, "We outside, DM the gang for the location," and
That's
Youngin
crazy.
too would be spotted wearing his Oblock chain at the gathering. It would be one such Oblock chain, allegedly splattered with blood, that Duke and Youngin's alleged killers would post not long after the murder, snatched off an Oblock member's corpse, or at least that's what the posters wanted everyone to think.
Yeah.
News of the deaths begun to spread quickly online, with associates confirming Munna Duke and Youngin's passing through heartfelt posts, including those members of Oblock who were particularly close with the two, like Muwop, Duke's alleged right-hand man in the murder of GetRight. Munna Duke had also recently become a father, welcoming a child with the former partner of OTF D-Thang,
That's
the late
weird.
brother of rapper Lil Durk.
That's so
but
weird.
following him and Youngin's death, it wasn't just those close to them paying their respects, as the well-known ops of Oblock, like STL, EBT, Taekwon World, and Gyro City, would immediately begin to troll on social media.
Yeah.
Taekwon World members paying tribute to their fallen friend Poppy, this playing to
I
the
guess now
long-held
it's
rumor
officially confirmed that Munna Duke killed Poppy and TB.
that Duke had been involved in his murder, but surprisingly, none of them would pay tribute to GetRight, which many people on Reddit would argue was actually proof that Duke wasn't one of the shooters in that case. But meanwhile, Oblock and their younger generations like TSG would make social media posts promising get back, with members of TSG announcing to the world, and probably the police, that they were already busy sliding on their ops, posting on social media, asking where the ops are, and that they must have gone into hiding knowing that Oblock was on hunting time. But who they were hunting is a completely different matter.
And then, I ain't gonna lie, real quick, this is why when you live in Chicago, even if you don't know none, it's just best to stay away from the hood, gang. Because I remember being in Chicago and I wasn't like, especially this after I graduated and shit. I graduated 2017, so this like the time where I'm just moving around the city, like, you know, I might be doing this, doing that, whatever. And you have to know what's going on in what neighborhood and when to go there, when to not go there. You know what I'm saying? When to go get some food, when to not go get some food. You know it's a war right now. It's cracking. 3 people died in 2 days, boy. Them, you know, the motherfuckers that came through the 6, 7 times and spent that bitch. Hell no, I ain't going to get no weed out of there. We going to go somewhere else, you know? Like that type of thing.
When it comes to the possible
You gotta know that
suspects,
type
there are
shit.
many different theories. One of the leading drill reporters in Chicago, or drill historian as he calls himself, Truth Teller TV, would suggest that the murder may well have been in retaliation for the murder of rapper FBG Duck, meaning that the suspects may be from the sets close by Oblock, like STL EBT, aka Tukaville, where Duck was from, or possibly Taekwon World, which has many members closely affiliated with Duck's set.
You know, it's a real war going on. It's already talk in the street that this is get back for FBG Duck. And they did this for FBG Duck. I'm not sure. I don't want to throw that out, you know. But I can tell you it looked like they were targeted and murdered.
Yeah, they was targeted.
The streets are talking.
Somebody got their location, pulled up, knew they was there, you know what I'm saying, and waited for them to come outside again. Because as soon as they stepped outside, that's when they did what they did.
For Duck, you know?
Another YouTuber from Chicago, also known as a Gyro City original and a close friend of FBG Duck, FYB J-Main, would take to his YouTube channel to comment on the situation, racking up hundreds of thousands of views within a matter of days, and reporting on the murders with a somber tone, despite being from the rival area.
Sad day in Chicago, bruh. 2 of the main Oblockians lost their lives last night, bro, due to gun violence in Chicago, bro. We don't know what's going on, bro. So it's kind of early to start pointing fingers and all of that. It's never a good feeling when you lose a brother, you lose somebody who close to you, you even lose somebody a friend that you could be able to call.
As those who have followed the Chicago drill scene know, despite J-Main's previous involvement in the gang war as a member of a gang who was some of the main rivals of Oblock, he spent the last few years pushing peace in the Chicago drill community and trying to build bridges between people from rival gangs, even visiting Oblock himself in vlogs while attempting to repair the fractures between these two warring communities.
Do y'all homework on I got one of the original Oblockians taking me to the O right now. Let's just start here.
That address, I didn't want to show that motherfucker. Come on, go here. What we doing? Ready up? Alhamdulillah, Bismillah, Rahman Rahim, Alhamdulillah. We represent that Muslimitic, man. Represent that Muslimitic. We live here in Oblock. We got J-Main. We got DQ from Oblock. We bring it, man. We making peace. We pushing peace and prayer on purpose. Alhamdulillah, the brothers gonna make peace right here on camera. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
However, not everyone was welcoming J-Mane with open arms, and during a subsequent visit to Oblock, he was forced to flee the scene after Oblock veteran E-Dog turned up, furious about J-Mane making comments about him in interviews.
He got me on DJ. He can't do this.
Got up out of there, yeah.
Got no sex. I ain't got no respect for him.
Munna Duke had actually come out after this visit and dissed J-Mane too, suggesting that it was disrespectful of him to pose with his...
Why you go to a hood? Why you got a hood and shiesty on? First time I ever seen this in one of your videos. Second, who approved or told you it was good for you to do it? From my point of view, you trying to be funny. What? That whole shit was just dumb as hell, bro. He wasn't trying to be funny. He pulled up to show and influence people like, look, I'm over here. It's okay. I fuck with Vaughn. I'm sad that Vaughn, it happened to Vaughn. It, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not dissing no more. Let's change. That's all he's saying, bro. Like,
a cereal brand in front of King Von's mural whilst also wearing a ski mask. It's understandable why Oblock members might have felt some type of way, because before J-Mane was pushing peace, he was known for pulling stunts like going to Oblock with a machine gun on him. After apparent pressure behind the scenes, J-Mane would take to his channel once again, giving a chilling update on how he's been warned about pushing peace with his former rivals, given just how deadly the beef still is.
Yeah. What was telling me now, J-Mane, you better keep it on you now. Two Oblockians just got whacked. You, even the Whoop man out here pushing this peace, and you out here trying to stop the violence. But whole time, when shit like this happen, it's kind of a smack in the face. Do something different in my life, bro. Either you gonna respect me or you not.
But somewhat surprisingly, suspicions on the culprits of this double murder would also begin to fall on Oblock's former friends, Front Street, as online sleuths would claim that the person in the pictures holding the Oblock chain while wearing a ski mask was actually a Front Street member called Bawop, who, according to online detectives, is tied to at least 2 other murders, these being towards Front Street and Oblock's common enemies. The murder of Cord from STL EBT in 2021 and Lil Take from Taekwon World in 2022. Then, another leaked image would get posted on Reddit, showing another alleged member of Front Street wearing the same chain, the caption simply being a series of laughing emojis.
That is blood. That's blood, bro. Y'all see that right here? It's some up here, and it's some right here. Y'all see that little red spot? And he posted this on his page, and the close friends like, motherfucker won't go and screenshot it.
Alleged member of Front Street wearing the same chain, the caption simply being a series of laughing emojis. But as the person who had posted the image would notice that it had been shared on Reddit, he would seemingly decide to delete his entire Instagram account, with the Redditors predicting that their self-snitching had made certain that they would get caught. Meanwhile, Oblock would catch wind of the rumors floating around the net, with both Ike Munna and Ocho Munna commenting on a post saying that the chain isn't Youngun's or Duke's. And in reality, it seems unlikely that anyone would spend time trying to remove a chain off someone's neck in such a public place, not knowing if the victim's friends were going to return fire at any moment. Meanwhile, other Reddit detectives have pointed out how the getaway vehicle was found burning literally right next to the Altgeld Gardens, the home of OTF Chuckies and Action Savage's Ghoulie Gang, aka Bloodbath. While their members would also post subliminal Instagram posts, like an emoji showing 2 fingers up, this seemingly implying that they had just caught 2 of their ops. If these rumors are true, this could mean that Oblock is about to face some very difficult times. And the question becomes, who would Lil Durk and his OTF affiliates side with? They're longtime friends from Oblock, who have done many things with Durk and for Durk, but who have recently lost many key members due to death or prison, or Ghoulie Gang, whose rapper Chucky is currently one of the top artists on Lil Durk's OTF label, which desperately needs somebody to bring in money now that Durk will likely stay locked up for a long time. Many people seem to think that this case could be solved any day now, if the Chicago police are just willing to allocate some of the required resources, but they often take their time, and only time will tell if anyone is going to face justice.
A lot of times, the Chicago police, y'all know that. A lot of times, they don't give a damn, boy. A lot of times, they will let you, they will let your killer walk around cool, then they wait till he died and be like, yeah, he the one who killed Munna Duke. For everybody that don't know, we just ain't arrest him for whatever reason, because they don't want to spend they I don't know, I guess they think, they look at it like they don't want to spend their time wasting, quote unquote, wasting their time on some shit that is pointless because he had it coming. I don't know, but regardless, rest in peace to everybody. I hope everybody realized that this shit is no winning. There is no winning. You know, you can unalive every op you got, but every op you got a brother you never seen, a sister you never seen, a cousin you never seen, a friend that you never met, You got the younger little kids on the block that might grow up. You could get killed by some kids who was 5 years old when you was killing your ops. But when they was 5, they on the same block as your ops. So they grow up now and they 19 and they coming to unalive you because of what you did 15 years ago. When they was 8, 6, 7. You feel me? Like real deal. So yeah, it's really never no winning, bro. You know what I'm saying? The only time you can win is if you get out the streets, stop going to the hood, stop talking to niggas in the hood, stop doing anything illegal, and just live your life straight, gang. That's the best way to do it, folks. Like me, I'm living a good life. I don't never go to the hood for nothing. I don't give a fuck what it is, folks. If it's only in the hood and I gotta do something else, nigga, I will take my ass. I will go on Amazon. I'll spend an extra $4. I'll go on Instacart and get it delivered to me. If I got it, you know what I'm saying? If it's that serious. But yeah, I don't go to the hood, bro. I don't go to no hood, no bad neighborhoods at all. I want to stay as close as to the nice areas as possible, gang. You know what I'm saying? Like, never ever I ain't stepped foot in the hood and I don't know how long. So it's like, a lot of times shit just don't be worth it, gang. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.